And good morning, everybody. It is Wonderful Wednesday with the fabulous Cheryl Elman. I'm thrilled to have you on here, Cheryl. So thank you. And I adore you. It was Beryl Comar who introduced us. And I love that. And then I got to meet you on Zoom with the North Carolina Hypnosis Group. And you and Larry, you welcome me, and and you give me so much help throughout the years. So thank you.
Well, I think one of the things that sticks out in my mind the most is we'd met each other a few times, and then, Larry and I produced these conferences, the Dave Elman Legacy Conferences. We did three of them online. We had 86 speakers, 3 days, three rooms, and one of the for 12 hours a day. And one of the things we had two keynotes a day. And Beryl had, if I remember, she fell, I think that particular time, and she was a keynote and couldn't do it. And next thing I knew, you were there, and I hadn't even ever heard you speak, which was interesting. And now you were a keynote, and you did a fabulous job. You were just, I remember you were drawing on the board right there, and I think you were very relaxed, like you'd been doing this all your life. And you did such a great job. And since then, I think we got even closer and grew. And then you took Sleep Talk with me. Oh, and tell me, how did you get to learn about Sleep Talk?
Well, okay, so you do send out books for Beryl, and
Right?
I got her book from you, and yeah, this inside it. And and then of course, and then actually, I got curious, and you actually did a presentation on it on the North Carolina Hypnosis Group, and you had an offer on. I just went, yep, sign me up. So yeah, so then I trained with you, and it was actually as we were discussing this, I said, oh, this is what I do with my daughter when she was little. So I started telling you about these little bunnies that we did from shadow puppets. And it was you and Vanessa Perez who I was training with. You just both went, you have to do something with that. And it was you who named it the bunny talk process.
And it's true. So it's all those little moments in life. You just never know what's going to happen. Like Beryl just said to you, Claudia, I need you to go speak because I can't do it. And you came. And then all of a sudden, that sets you off being a keynote speaker for the next few years at different conferences. You've been on a roll just because of that one moment. And then also the developing of the bunny talk process. So
I know.
you just never know. My friend Anne Marie, who studied with us, and she was doing um, a little like health fair, and somebody who had a senior home, with working with seniors, came and asked if she could do something at her nursing home, and so she did. And from that ended up being where she's in half of North Carolina. Last I knew, 30 to 35 therapists. And just from that little health fair and that one little thing, it grew into having a whole company called Silver Linings, where they do therapy and hypnosis for senior citizens all over North Carolina. You,
Absolutely fantastic.
you just don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
uh,
I love it.
yeah.
And you've got a training coming up soon anyway as well, haven't you? With Sleep Talk, you're doing it with Jody Solberg.
Yes, Dr. Jody Solberg also
Mhm.
studied with me. I think in 2023 she took Sleep Talk. I think
Mhm.
one of the classes on either side of you, and she's a therapist and works with children and families, and so she's actually and a hypnotist. So she's got a lot of case studies, and we really get along wonderfully. So, and I enjoy teaching alongside her. So she's, I tend to put up there, yeah, I'm going to teach a class, and then I really suck at the marketing of it. I really do. So, she actually gets it done. When my husband passed away recently, and I said, "Oh, these people are putting these beautiful things up about Larry Elman," and I said, it would be great to go ahead and do a celebration of his life. I said, but it would be nice to be able to capture these. Can you think of how we could do it? And she goes, well, we could do this, 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 this. And I just said to her, yeah, I'll probably never do it. I said, are you volunteering? Next thing, it was up in the morning and she was capturing things. So in the future, we will be doing a global presentation of life for Larry. And also in about 15 months or so, because that's what it takes, a military funeral at Arlington.
I was going to
And
ask, did you get it? Oh, that's fantastic.
I,
Oh,
I, I still have to apply for it, but we're hoping to get it.
can take that.
Um,
Mhm.
and so, for those of you that don't know, my husband is Larry Elman, and that's how I came into hypnosis. His father, Dave Elman, taught thousands of doctors and dentists medical hypnosis
Mhm.
over the years. And as a result, Sean Michael Andrews found Larry, who had actually gone on to be an aeronautical engineer and a retired Air Force colonel in the Pentagon and working with aviation. And he found us and he stuck my hand to the table in my head and I went, I want to do this. And I got to tell you, I had stopped smoking 16 years earlier, and I was a heavy smoker, 2 to 3 packs a day. And I had stopped smoking with the use of hypnosis. I really wish I knew. It was a hypnotist in Manhattan. I wish I knew who it was. I wasn't sure. Maybe it was Joseph Blimick. I have no idea. I think it was a guy, and it was in Manhattan. I was working there at the time, and I knew it worked.
Mhm.
So we went just like you did your first talk at our conference, and then kept going. We came and was a guest speaker at NGH back in 2009, and we ended up traveling to 17 countries, teaching some of them 2, 3, 4 times, and teaching on way more countries than that on Zoom over the years. So it was Sean Michael Andrews always apologizes to us as to ruining our retirement.
I was going to say, did he ruin your retirement?
And I always say to him, no, what he did was give us lifestyle. Because when I think about it, when, Larry and I were talking towards the end, I said, we got to live life large. And we did. It was wonderful. All the
Mm,
places we went and the people, people travel around the world. It's different when you travel around the world and you're living with the people within the culture than
yeah.
when you're sightseeing around the world. I didn't care if I saw the sightseeing. It was the the feeling you got from the people and the cultures all around the world.
Yeah.
So that was
I agree.
really
As you know, I'm very kinesthetic. It is about
right.
feeling you get from people. And that's why I'm in
Absolutely.
America. It's my happy place. I lived in America when I was a little girl, and I just knew I always wanted to live back in America because it is the feeling I get from being in this country. It's the adventure. I think it's the whole being outside so much more. And obviously, we're in North Carolina, so you can be outside a lot more. So yeah, it's the feeling.
Well, every state, even when it's ice cold, I mean, people in Alaska, it could be cold. They're still outside. They just like the different climates they're in. I lived in South Florida, and I would be out in the summer as hot as it was, but my sister and I had a mobile arts and craft company and we were out there doing it, and Larry taught on aviation history. So but we have really enjoyed teaching, and I love Dave Elman's methods. Dave Elman, his methods are very reliable. He did not name it the DEI, Dave Elman induction. DEI, is what we've called it for years. These days, it's not as positive a term, so now I call it the Dave Elman induction as opposed to always saying the DEI. But the Dave Elman induction, the doctors loved it because it was very reliable. It was short, it was succinct, you know. And um, when they asked him to teach him, you know, he came from vaudeville and he had experimented with the Elman induction when he was younger, and and came up with the idea of fractionation, which he called 3 trips to Bernheim because it was built on Hippolytes Bernheim's concept of every time you went into hypnosis, you went deeper and faster. And so that's how he built the Dave Elman induction. It's built on tests and convincers.
Well, Cheryl, it was actually one of the first inductions I learned in England, sort of right around 14 years ago. So it is, you know, it's everywhere. I mean, it works.
Yeah, and sometimes it's people don't always give Dave credit for it, which, you know, but they've adapted parts of it. And, you know, Dave Elman, when you read that book, which is 330 pages, about 30 pages talks about the actual induction. The fact is, it was his whole overall way of working, you know, and the doctors came and they created with him, you know, different strategies for different specialties and different circumstances, you know. So he did not know medicine, but they actually worked together as a team. They would come up with an idea, and then with that idea, they would all go out and field test it, you know, because when they took the test, they would travel like Larry and I traveled around the world. Well, my mother-in-law and father-in-law went ahead and they traveled around the country, and so they would do a 10 weeks. They would keep going the same circuit for 10 weeks and come back to each city for 10 weeks, and the doctors would go after work and they would learn, they would practice. They had all week to practice on their clients or their patients. I think one of the things that hypnotists today, when they study, it's like finding people to practice on. Look at all the people that doctors had to practice on during the week. So, which was good. And these people already trusted them. So it wasn't like, oh my God, you're going to do hypnosis. So, so it built, and all the different concepts built. And one of the things that Dave Elman did with Larry, actually, he was the little boy in it, is he created hypnosis attached to sleep to get to the bottom of some of Larry's, he had really bad allergies and something traumatic had happened to him when he was very young, like around 4. And then he had blocked it. He did not remember it. And his father uncovered it, hypnotizing him while Larry was sleeping. He was about 12 at the time. Very similar to the same concept that Joan Goulding created in working with her daughter, who had multiple disabilities, and trying to get through to her because they figured out that she did have a lot more communication than they thought underneath that all. And so they started speaking to her in her sleep. Except the difference is that parents who do get to be with their children during their sleep do not necessarily have the communication and suggestion skills that that Dave Elman had in working with Larry. And so instead, Joan built a foundation process, which is built on good communication skills and attributes that would give that parent a way of developing this relationship with the child during their sleep to build self-esteem and emotional resilience, and in 2 to 3 minutes a night. And they would do that, and it would actually create a shift in the entire family, you know. So very similar to building that same, and it built that bridge of trust and emotional availability between them, much as what happened with your daughter with the bunny process.
Because you're right, it's about building that safety, love, and security, the unconditional love that is
Right.
anchored in. And if the parent is repeating that when every night when the child is asleep, it is layering it on, layering it on, layering on the love, and that is what happens. It's
But we
mhm,
sneak in this other thing. We sneak in two things. We sneak in education for the parent because the same communication skills that they learn as they go through this foundation process, and then assessment to do more specific to that child where they need further work or further um, strengthening. While they're doing that, their parents often, I'm sure that if you're out there, whether you're a therapist, a social worker, a teacher, or a hypnotist, that you've had patients or clients that come in that they themselves never felt unconditionally loved. And if
yeah,
you don't feel unconditionally loved, it's hard for you to give it because you don't know it. So much like physical abuse, sexual abuse, if that lack of emotional availability is there, it also gets passed down from one person to another. So the re-education for the parents, I think one of the things I love to watch, Claudia, and I know you've been in several classes, is when that parent, when we're even practicing it, and they close their eyes and we say that foundation statement to them,
cry.
how that they cry, that they just feel. I mean, it just breaks through a barrier that was a wall that was up there. And so they're getting to do it and say it in a safe place when their child is sleeping. So they get more confident with it, and the child gets to hear it and feel more confident too.
Yeah,
And
no,
it
you're absolutely right, Cheryl. And as you know from because you're a bunny talk practitioner as well, so you
yeah.
came along and learnt that's one of the diagrams that I draw in it, where the parents take responsibility and realize that it's, oh, I need my own work as well. That it's because it's the environment that I'm creating for my child. And so, I mean, it absolutely fits so perfectly, the bunny talk and the sleep talk, that they just go together like that, don't they?
Yes, and absolutely. And um, when that parent makes that change, it actually goes into other parts of their life. All of a sudden, they're working better with their coworkers, they're happier at work, the house is happier, they feel better about themselves. It changes communication skills that they have with their spouse or friends or even other family members. It creates a shift in the entire family. And whether it be bunny talk, whether it be sleep talk, or both simultaneously, it just makes a big change. And I think, who's it good for? Now, what I love about what you and Beryl have been doing, and I have to share because I was talking to my cousin last night who has a nonprofit in South Florida, but that you also have been working, both of you, with clients with dementia.
Mhm.
And that sleep talk, I remember somebody taking my class back at NGH. It was like a 2-hour class, and I went through the process, and they learned sleep talk, and they took sleep talk with me at that conference. And they went home and they did it with their mother, who um, who had Alzheimer's. And towards the end, it's the only thing that she reacted to at all. And every day he would say that sleep talk process with her. And it was the only thing she would react to.
I love that.
And
Thank you for sharing. That's yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No,
And so that the fact that you and Beryl are now also doing it and using it within working with dementia.
because we're bunny, we're trainers of the sleep talk, so we can. But
Right,
somebody but Beryl's also a trainer of it, so
right.
we can. But anybody who would be learning, to do this, I think they would probably have to become a sleep talk practitioner
It's
to know how
it's
to.
good to know it so you can really utilize it
Yeah.
and work with it. I recommend it. It's, it's simple. it's so simple but so effective is what one of my one of the people that studied with me was a psychologist in England and no, in Ireland actually. And he said it was just so simple, but at the same time so effective.
Yeah.
So I
So
love it.
Cheryl, I know I'm seeing you next, aren't I, at the Mid America Hypnosis Conference?
I'm
And
so
FC,
excited. You know, here we are. We live within an hour of each other, and we always end up having to like go halfway across the country to see each other. But it's true. We
I
used to
know.
do the same thing with
Well,
Claire de
actually, I will try
Lavar.
and see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. She's now in Scotland. But yeah, I will try and see you this week if you're available. Because I have your favorite thing that you like me to bake for you. I'm
Ooh,
going to
banana.
make
She
one.
makes a good banana bread. She does.
I had a client give me some duck eggs, so it's like, I've got to make one really because the duck eggs are great for baking. So, and I thought, well, who would appreciate it most? You.
Me.
That- so yeah, so we're going to see each other anyway. If I don't see you this week or next week, I'll see you at the Mid America Hypnosis Conference. I'm going to be talking on the Bunny Talk process, and then I'm also going to. I've got a pre-conference the day before on the 16th. So which I'm very excited about because I've got some people signed up for that, and anybody who signs up for that, they get the online one as a bonus as well. So Cheryl, what are you speaking on at the Mid America Hypnosis Conference?
Well, originally I was going to speak on Sleep Talk, but to be honest with you, I'm sure that what's going to be first and foremost in a lot of people's minds, and I'm going to have a box of tissues with me, I'm sure, is that they're going to be coming over to speak to me about Larry, and I'm just the outpouring of how much he he actually helped people with just 5 and 10 minute conversations and what they learned and how they changed their own confidence, and so has been overwhelming to read. In fact, I still have personally not posted, that my husband has passed, which means that some of my friends and relatives don't even know. So because I've been so busy posting on other people, so I definitely have to get that out. But so I will be talking on the Dave Elman induction and teaching it and the process of it. And I'm also going to be available I'll have a booth, and so I'll also have information about Sleep Talk. But I am uh, coming up on September 27th, 28th. I think that's the weekend, 27th, 28th. And then again on November 1st and 2nd, we'll be doing this Sleep Talk class
Okay.
online. And then, you're working on um, doing the case studies and working with your clients. Didn't you love to see the changes um, as you were tracking how
It
the
was
parents were seeing the changes?
absolutely phenomenal. And there was one in particular, there's always one that is extra special. And yeah, the change was quite very significant and really quickly, like within the week.
That's
So
great.
yeah, I mean, this little boy, he really did not like himself, thought he was bad, and he actually within the week he was already waking. He was fine.
But you know what's
Already.
also interesting? It's also interesting because how do children see themselves? They see themselves as reflections of their parents' eyes. So if that parent is also seeing that change and seeing that child differently in their eyes, that also helps to create that change even faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But when it was really sad because the little boy got it from school, and
Yeah,
so it was in it. I know they were trying absolutely everything, and they did this, and just couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my gosh, you know.
so
So yeah, it was quite remarkable, and yeah, that one actually, stuck there. So there's always the one, isn't there? Or a few that mean more than others. So
so So if people are interested in signing up or getting the hypnosis book or Beryl's hypnodontics book, which I publish here in the States for her, and or the Sleep Talk class, the easiest thing is elmanhypnosis.com.
Yeah, I'm going to get you.
ELMAN hypnosis.com
I'll
is
put
the
your
easiest
website.
way.
I'll put your website in the show notes, Cheryl, and you know, and then I'll put my link for the training for the bunny talk. In fact, the Mid America Hypnosis Conference, because we get to go, we get to see Chase Hughes, Richard Bandler. There's so many great speakers. So yeah, it's one not to miss. You know,
Yeah, it's definitely, and they made it very affordable to come, you know, to the actual conference itself. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be fun. So that's in Chicago,
yeah,
and so we hope to see you there.
yeah, and
I
lots
have
of
to say, this is a new experience for me. I've never been on SteamYard, is it called?
StreamYard.
Or
Yes.
StreamYard.
Yes. So yeah, well, I'm really not very technological, and this is about the only one I can manage. And I think there are loads of other little extra bits and bobs that it does, but I haven't got a clue what they are or how to use them. So it's very, and I probably pay for them as well, but I haven't got a clue. But I do it, and I do it to the best of my ability, and that's okay.
Well, when we're together, I'll look at your end of what it looks like as the producer of it and see if I can, because I am more techie than you, and see if I can give you some idea of what it can do. So
Okay, well, there you go. I love it.
thank you all, and I look forward to meeting you or seeing you. Feel free to contact me. Um, I'd love to hear from you. And just to let you know, there will be more classes coming up. I'm just gathering my breath and still getting paperwork through the military and all the other things that you just don't think of. And then there will be another Train the Trainers course for Dave Elman Hypnosis Institute. There'll be another book study course where we actually go through. Did you ever take the book study,
I
Claudia?
did not. No, I would
So
like to.
we actually go, it's a 12-week course, and we go through a couple of chapters a week discussing them. And of course, you know, we've got a lot of those in the can, so to speak, just sitting there. So we will be including a lot of Larry's thoughts and teachings about all the courses, whatever we teach. So he'll always be part of. That's the beauty of having been not always the greatest internet, because we live on a farm road, but um, that we will always have Larry's teachings because he's been recorded a lot. So he'll, just like we have Dave when we teach, we have only X number of hours of Dave audio teaching,
Mhm.
but also we use him and straight from the horse's mouth to hear how he developed the Dave Elman induction or what he thought on different cases and stuff. So that's been wonderful. So you get it, Elman, and Elman, all of us.
Wow, what a legacy! I mean, how thrilling! You know, that's so yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So it'll always be with you anyway.
So
Absolutely. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for coming on, Cheryl. I really appreciate
thank
it.
you,
So it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard, and it's goodbye from Cheryl.
Cheryl, and just wondering when that banana bread is coming to
I
my
know.
door here. Bye,
We'll
you all.
we'll discuss it afterwards. All right. Take
Good
care, everybody.
night.